line tonight.
All right. We're going to give you our player to watch. And they ain't from Toronto because this is going to be a messy one. The player to watch is presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly. I'm taking full responsibility for this one.
Okay.
Because it is Robert Thomas, former York Simcoe Express. And as a former York Simcoe Express myself, I would like to pick him for an anytime goal. Plus 260. He's also from Aurora, good old Aurora. And when I get off the 404 and I get off at Wellington, I see a sign that says, "Welcome to Aurora, the home of Stanley Cup champion Robert Thomas." He's got 57 points in 51 games, leading the team by a wide margin. He's going to want to play big tonight. Hometown kid, plus 260 for an anytime goal.
And I'm pretty sure there's one in Richmond Hill for Jordan Binnington who starts tonight opposite of Ilya Samsonov. And honestly, if we're leaning into that hometown flavor, Jordan Kyrou plus 190 isn't a bad look as well. Kyrou and Robert Thomas likely to play on the top line for the St. Louis Blues.
Okay, so we mentioned it a bit earlier that there will be no Morgan Rielly for the next couple games. He's not missing the hardest stretch. I mean, anytime you don't have Morgan Rielly, it's tough. He's playing. They got St. Louis Blues tonight who are red hot. Okay, so maybe that's not great. Yep. Philadelphia Flyers, who are ahead of them for a playoff spot, unfortunately. Anaheim Ducks, that's a good one. They play the Blues again. Then they play the Arizona Coyotes. And then he's back in time for the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah, I mean, there's no walkovers there.
No.
The St. Louis Blues are a tough team. They're winning games. John Tortorella's got that Flyers team playing really well pretty much every night. Arizona Coyotes are no pushover as well. And I think the last one you mentioned there was the Anaheim Ducks. I mean, you want to win that game, but there are no certainties in the NHL, even with a lineup that's going to look like the one that the Leafs have tonight. So this is going to be a tough stretch. It's an important stretch. It's a crucial stretch. Just treading water here might be enough, but they need to put together some good efforts in defense of Morgan Rielly, who would have done or did what everyone else should have done, honestly, and that's respond to what happened on Saturday night. It's just maybe he went a bridge too far with the cross check, but they got to pick up their teammate here, and that begins tonight.
All right. New Look Maple Leafs are on next with Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph, who have the call of the first period after the break. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Soccer's biggest stars and most iconic clubs clash in the UEFA.
lineup as they host the St. Louis Blues, a team that they have struggled mightily against here at home. And the custodians of the corded condos tonight, brought to you by Superior Door and Gate Systems, Canada's top choice for automatic doors, security gates, security fencing, and bollards, because security can only be measured by what it will save you. Ilya Samsonov, 9-4-6, 3.38. Goals against average against Jordan Binnington, 18-13-2, 2.89 goals against average in those games. And we are underway. The puck down into the St. Louis zone. Back along the boards is Robertson sending it to the net, and Domi couldn't redirect in front of the goal. At the point, Giordano holds, can't find an avenue. Back along the boards for Robertson. Robertson swings it back in for Domi, back of the net. Now to Bertuzzi. He reverses his field and works it back along the boards to Domi once more. All of this behind the net. Off the boards it comes on a shot in front of the goal, and Nyes, who was over there, didn't have his stick on the ice, and he might have had an open net if he did. Nyes into the far corner. Knocked down on the play by Sundqvist. They battle up against the far boards. Puck still up against the wall as it finally comes free, and keeping it in is Lagesson. Leafs with it again. Near side, Giordano once more. Back to the point of the shot. And off the stick of Bertuzzi, it deflected just wide. Leafs continue to press. Off the boards to the near side. And finally, the Blues trying to get the puck out at center to relieve some pressure. And they finally do. Right back into St. Louis territory it goes. Rung around the boards and trapped at that far point. Nylander trying to dig it out of a maze, but can't. And it's out into the center ice area now for Robert Thomas. Thomas in with a drop pass, trying to get a shot away. It comes around the boards to Thomas, who'll get it back to the point. Peryanko with a shot. That deflected wide. Far side now for Nick Leddy. Blues pressing now with the Maple Leafs, but a pass is intercepted, and the Maple Leafs trying to work their way out of the zone will play it off the glass to center ice. Puck back in the St. Louis end. Blues trying to work out with Leddy, getting it up on the right side. Peryanko shoots it in. Along the boards for McCabe. On the wing to McMahon, and out at center ice as it's slapped in by David Camp. Back into the lineup after missing a number of games. Played up along the boards far side. Noah Gregor can't get to it. Camp does. Tried to chip it in for Gregor, but it's intercepted, and St. Louis playing to center ice.
Well, pretty good pace, despite the big boys being out of the lineup at the start. By the Max Domi line, they were just fantastic in the first 45 seconds. Marner
and Tavares out. Morgan Riley suspended 5 games. Lots to talk about here this evening. Flu bug, the reason for Tavares and Marner. Here's Camp unable to center it for McMahon, but then it comes along the boards, and Giordano kind of fanned on it. Brought on by Kasperi Kapanen, the former Leaf. He is knocked off stride, and a shot in on goal is going to be covered up here by goaltender Ilya Samsonov. And the other injury is in goal. Dennis Hildeby is backing up tonight.
Backing up, yes. Martin Jones not available tonight. But since the current setup in place for handling suspensions in the National Hockey League, Roman Polak, 2 games. Nazem Kadri, 3. Zach Hyman, 2. Nazem Kadri, 4. Alex Kerfoot, 2. Jason Spezza, 4. Austin Matthews, 2. Pierre Engvall, Michael Bunning. So you're going to get those guys out of the game. Those Pierre Engvall, Kerfoots, Matthews,
Rileys.
You cannot. This is a family sport.
Well, you and I are on the same page here as it's played down into the St. Louis end. But then you think, you watch what Jacob Trouba did.
Oh, you'll drive yourself nuts.
No, you will.
You try to find comparables.
Yes.
By the way, Trouba suspended for his first time as a Ranger a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. And I believe it was only his second suspension. So Morgan Riley has been suspended more games than Jacob Trouba. And I think that's kind of the way you got to play, not to get suspended.
Shot in by Brody into the St. Louis end. Domi after it, but it's knocked to center ice, and now Robertson turns. Robertson with some skating room as he's in over the line, dropping it off on the left wing. Bertuzzi set a weak shot that went just wide of the net, and Robertson couldn't redirect. Kessel, no relation to the other one, brought out at center ice.
Amanda?
Yes.
That's Phil's sister.
Yes, he is.
I nailed it.
So he would be related to Amanda, but he's not. Down into the corner now for Nylander. Nylander back to the point. Liljegren holds, trying to find a room. Got it back to Nylander, and a drive is swallowed up by Jordan Binnington. And the Leafs have started off with good pace, good tempo, and you wonder how all of this affects the group, especially the Morgan Riley. The sickness to Marner and Tavares is not, I mean, that happens.
I mean,
is this something they rally around?
that's a pretty good reason to do it. I mean, even with Marner and Tavares out of the lineup. So Max Domi, you want more ice time? Tyler Bertuzzi, you're going to get it. I mean, here's the opportunity. And you remember last year, although Morgan Riley struggled at times last year, but when he was injured, the Leafs actually went on a pretty good roll with Riley out of the lineup.
So it is Matthews with Nylander and Nyes. And the Blues have it back in their own zone. Paryenko getting it up on the left wing, and it's fired into the Toronto zone. Around the boards it comes to Brody, who chips it along for Nyes. Nyes tried to spin it ahead for David Camp, and now Camp turns in his own zone and starts up ice. On the left wing is Gregor. Pass for him into the corner, out of his reach, goes into the corner, and the Blues trying to play it out, had it blocked there by Camp. He gets it in front, and McMahon couldn't get a stick on it to get a shot away. Blues setting it along the boards now for Braden Shen. He'll try the other side. St. Louis, 6 straight wins against the Maple Leafs and are 9-2-1 overall in their last 12. Now a jam play and scores! Bobby McMahon comes right out of the corner. McMahon comes right out of the corner and stuffs it in the near post under the pad of Binnington, and the Leafs have a 1-0 lead.
First in 9 games for Bobby McMahon, as he, like Camp and Noah Gregor, elevated to the third line with all the absentees. Leafs win the battle in the corner to the left of Binnington. McMahon picks it up and then just takes it from below the goal line in the corner. Sees a little bit of room, takes it to the front of the net, and he and David Camp both took a swipe at it once it got to the blue paint. And the Leafs have struck first.
Here's Giordano. Got it up on the wing. Flipped ahead at center. Steeves couldn't come up with it. Alex Steeves is in the lineup for the Leafs. Here's a jam play at the other end, and knocked sideways there by his own man was goaltender Samsonov, but the Leafs get it out into the neutral zone. Puck gobbled up now by Benoit on the left wing side. Fired into the zone by Holmberg. He'll head to the bench. Leafs are in the midst of a change. Alex Steeves, graduate of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and having a wonderful season with the Toronto Marlboros. Oh, no, I guess they're not the Marlboros. They're just the Marlies. My mistake. Back down into the Toronto zone. Flipped up on the wing. Robertson gets it around back of the net. That comes up to McCabe, who passes it off, and now here's Domi in on the left wing. Domi trying to get it into the slot area, and it bounced away there from Bertuzzi. Round back of the net, Domi has it again. Centers in front, Bertuzzi! Oh my, what a glorious chance! And he fired it wide. Blues get it out at center ice.
And a great setup again by Max Domi.
Here's Robertson in, holding and shooting. That went off a leg, and it deflects to the goaltender where it is covered up.
McMahon from Gregor at 5:33.
Gregor gets the lone assist on the goal. McMahon's third. The Leafs 1-0 leaders. You're listening. some completely useless information that bears being repeated here this evening. This is the Maple Leafs' first game without Tavares, Riley, and Marner in the lineup since Tavares joined the team, which is obvious, right? Because when he hadn't joined the team, those two may have played together anyway.
But anyway, you sliced it. You didn't know that.
No, I didn't. No, you're right. 2018, no. Our man Armin is on the job again. Good job, I think. Puck down in the Toronto zone. Played along the boards. The Blues trying to poke it free. The Leafs with a 1-0 lead. Chipped by Liljegren into the far corner. Matthews after it there. It comes free to Nylander. Couldn't push it up the boards to get it out. Now the Blues off the far half boards. Nylander got back to knock it away. Tripped up there. No penalty. Shot goes into the corner. Matthews got dumped there by the Blues as it comes out into the center ice area. Never mind suspensions. It's the other officiating we're worried about. Here the Blues in on the wing, and a drop pass didn't work. And now it's finally brought ahead and pushed out at center ice by Brody. Blues trying to bring it back in. Brody knocks it down into the corner. Centering effort made by Kasperi Kapanen of the Blues was blocked. The former Leaf. Along the boards, it comes back to the point. Kessel with a shot. That booms wide of the net. Chipped up on the wing, but not past the pinching forward.
Let's go.
Kicked along the boards then by Neighbors. It goes around back of the net. Brody, who's been on for a long shift here, trying to work it out, but he lost the puck. It comes in front. Now back to the point. A drive by Krug and not deflected wide. Krug back to the blue line. Big pressure here from St. Louis. Kessel back to Krug. Krug back to Kessel. Right wing side. Deflects down into the corner. Benoit pushing it along for Brody. One hands it ahead. And Bobby McMahon's going to get it out.
Boy, that was Bobby McMahon, Joe, that had the big shot block from the left point. About 20 seconds before he was the one that finally was able to clear the zone.
McCabe punches it along the boards, but the Leafs don't come out with it cleanly. Then it is pushed ahead over the line by Alex Steeves. And brought in offside now by St. Louis.
Now, I am hearing a rumor, just a rumor. John Tavares and Mitch Marner were suspended for talking to Morgan Riley on the plane coming back from Ottawa.
Really? Boy, you do have... You have sources. You really do have sources.
That's why they had to get rid of Pierre Engvall. You could not have that kind of reckless play on a regular basis.
You know, your cheek is going to be so sore for your tongue being staple gunned in there.
When it comes to arguing about suspensions or lengths and everything else, it's like talking about taxes, right? You can say what you want. They're still going to be there, and you're not going to like it.
You're still going to have to pay it.
And you're not going to like it.
No. Played ahead at center ice. Steve's backhands a bouncing puck in on Bennington. Reeves couldn't come up with it in the corner, and the Blues are breaking out. Three of them at center. A hip check thrown there by Benoit. Stops up the rush. Nathan Walker, and then another hit on Sundqvist. And the Maple Leafs are starting out and sending it down the ice, but it's going to be an icing call and brought back. First period presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly.
So now here's the good and the bad with Benoit and Jake McCabe. Two big hits. Leafs get the puck back. McCabe tries to throw it up to Benoit. They miss, and it's an icing call. They got to stay on. So you had the physicality, but at times you see the hiccups and trying to get the puck cleanly out of their own zone.
Draw to the left of Samsonov. Comes back to the point. Shot in wide of the net by Leddy. Down into the corner now, cut off by McCabe. Nice little pass springs Domi, and he's got skating room to his liking up on the left wing. Now he flips it in and goes roaring in there after it. Elbowed to the head there, into the corner by Paryenko, and the puck is pushed ahead now, and the Blues are out at center. Robert Thomas, the Aurora native's pass, intercepted by Nylander. He fakes going behind the net, got it to the line and out. Matthews, holding at the boards, goes rink wide and finds Brody. Brody to Nyes. Nyes sending it to the net. That deflected and almost came right out in front where Matthews was awaiting the puck, but it never reached him. Leafs turn it over and bring it in. On the wing comes Nylander. Nylander sifting to the middle of the ice. Still with it. Drops it off for Giordano. Shot coming in into the glove of Binnington. And held by the St. Louis netminder, native of Richmond Hill. And a face-off coming in the St. Louis zone when we return. Here tonight already. Armin Zagarian can read.
Well, I don't like people that brag. Better get out of broadcasting then.
Face-off won by the Leafs. Near boards, Nylander centers, and Nyes couldn't knock it out of the air. Kept in at the blue line, punched down the boards there by Lagesson. Lagesson trying to kick it free. It came in front, but it's onto the stick of Matthew Kessel, who gets it out at center. Good back checking by Nylander, deflects the pass away. Giordano getting it freed up now for Matthews. He's just going to elevate it high to center ice. Knocked down, but carried back in by Matthews, and then he had it knocked away just as he hit the blue line. Then it goes off his skate again, and no one there to take advantage of it. Leafs are changing.
The Leafs still have only given up one shot on goal. 8:25 to go here in the first period.
Kessel gets it ahead, and now here's Bertuzzi. Breakaway in on goal. Deeks fast. No, and Binnington got a right pad down and made the save. Two great chances here in the first period for the Sudbury native, and he hasn't been able to get it past Binnington.
18 games since Tyler Bertuzzi has found the back of the net, and it's counted. He's had two called back in that stretch.
I was going to say legally.
No.
Brought out by the Leafs to center, chipped high. It's going to reach the net, go out of play.
I will say this, though, and the only thing I'll say in the suspension. Don't say that the first-time offender or repeat offender matters. It does not. Jason Spezza was given a 6-game suspension. First time in, an 18-year career he was suspended. 6 games. Gary Bettman actually knocked it down to 4 on the appeal.
But those 2 games were not played because the suspension went through, and then but he got some money back.
Got some money back. So 6 games for Jason Spezza of all people. So that's why nothing. I mean, technically, should Tom Wilson not be suspended 40 games for every being a repeat offender?
Shot from the point was blocked by one of the St. Louis players. That was Kasperi Kapanen, who's gone to the bench. If he was able to continue, he had a breakaway. But he went down and got clipped, I think, in the face. Now into the corner and around back of the St. Louis goal. Chipped up by Shen to center, and the Leafs go back into their own end. Brody off on the wing for his defense partner. Liljegren couldn't get the puck in deep. Blues turn it over in neutral ice. Leafs back in their own zone. Noah Gregor to the near side with skating room and shot in by Brody. Bennington out of the goal to play it along the boards. Got it past David Camp's outstretched glove, and then Bennington tripped and fell, getting back into the net. Back come the Blues. Thomas in with a shot, steered wide to the far side by Samsonov. Down into the corner. Matthews trying to tie up his man, but the puck comes free and the Blues send it around into an open corner, and Benoit gets there first for the Leafs to get it ahead for Nyes. Rink wide past Nylander, in across the line, trying to drag the foot to stay onside was Matthews, but it is ruled offside by one of the linesmen, who are Scott Cherry and Travis Gollitz. Ghislain Hebert and Michael Markovic are the referees.
And if you think, going back to the Morgan Riley incident, the suspension, if you think that's a first-time thing that's happened in the National Hockey League, you're wrong. There have been responses to excessive celebrations. You might remember Artem Anisimov scored a goal for the Rangers, shorthanded against Tampa, and then got down on one knee and did like the rifle shot at the goaltender. 5-on-5 brawl. That broke out. So this isn't something that's new. There was an incident between the Sharks and Flames years ago.
Turnover in the Leaf zone, trying to shoot it, and went wide of the net. Finish your thought, Jimmy?
Korolyak, I believe his name. He did the same thing. Stopped, pulled up, then put it in. And eventually his teammate Dan Hamhuis got the snot kicked out of him by, I believe it was Chris Simon was on the ice for Calgary.
You know, that is always a very graphic way of explaining it. And very accurate.
Well, not the most accurate way to put it, but
no.
For the listening audience, that's what we got to go with.
Played along the boards in the Leaf zone, back of the net. Giordano sending it off the wall. It's deflected down into the St. Louis end, but off a Blues player. No icing. 5:40 to go first period. 1-0 Toronto. A goal from Bobby McMahon. Secondary scoring, well, it's going to happen tonight because there isn't any first string. A lot of the first string's not around. Played into the corner, down around back of the net. Blues with it now. Saad trying to get it back to the point. A shot blockered away nicely there by Samsonov. Puck into the near corner. Chipped along and tipped ahead, and out comes Domi. Maxes to center. He's in across the line, dropped it for Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi missed it. It's played around back of the net. He steals. Couldn't get it out in front of the net, and he had Robertson right there. Blues send it back to the Leaf blue line, and the Leafs are there to recover. Up ahead for Robertson, who's heading to the bench for a change. Tyler Bertuzzi with a couple of great scoring chances, including a breakaway from the blue line in. But it's still 1-0 Toronto. Down the boards. Camp knocked down. Puck comes to the line. Benoit, nice play to keep it in for Noah Gregor. Gregor circles the goal on his backhand. Still with it. Now cycles it back down into the corner for McMahon. McMahon back for McCabe, but it bounced over his stick, but he had good support back there, and Gregor's filling in for him. And so the Leafs are able to get back into their own zone without incident. Played ahead for McMahon. Now to David Camp. Camp sifts to the far wing. Backhands it in deep. He's heading to the bench as well. 4 minutes remain in the first period. Blues bringing it out. Krug to the right wing side for Robert Thomas. Shot down into the Toronto zone. Thomas leads the Blues in scoring. Pass intercepted nicely by Nyes. Fed ahead for Nylander. Across the line and sifting to the middle of the ice. Back in for Nyes. Couldn't handle it with his skates. Gets it off to Matthews. In front of the net now for Brody. It comes back to Nylander. Nylander curls a pass. Scores! Deflection in front of the Blues player. And William Nylander makes it 2-0.
The hockey gods love to screw with you, don't they? This goes off Matt Kessel as Nylander picked up the puck after a turnover in the circle to the right of Binnington. And Nylander, I think, is trying to find the seam to throw it over to Austin Matthews in the far circle. Instead, it's redirected almost immediately, but Binnington, trying to read the play, is pushing to his left. Puck never gets there as it just wobbles off the shaft of Kessel's stick and past, I guess it was right off the blade, past the blocker's short side of Binnington, who had pulled off. And the Leafs with a 2-0 lead against the St. Louis Blues.
26th of the year for Nylander.
For Nylander, this is only the third game in the last 14 that he has scored. It's his fifth goal, but he had a couple of 2-goal games, including one in Vancouver. So 5 goals, but only in 3 games were those goals scored.
66th point of the season that leads the team. Played down into the Toronto zone. Lagesson got it freed up on the boards. Now Reeves unable to get it out. Long shot from the point, went wide of the Leaf goal. Backhanded back behind the net. Lagesson chipping it on the far boards, but it's going to be cut off by the pinching Marco Scandella. Now Lagesson lugging it out of his own zone. Got it ahead on the left wing for Steves. Steves with a pass back in and a redirect that really kind of slowed it up. As Pontus Holmberg was there, now we get some shoving down in the Blues end. Nothing more developing. Should not be a 5-game suspension for anything there, I don't believe. But then again, who am I? Who am I to make decisions like that?
Well, let's go to commercial. I'll talk about who you are after.
Assisted, and with Tavares and Marner out of the lineup, and Riley, William Nylander's got an A on his jersey. As it's cleared down into the Toronto zone and fed back for Robertson. Robertson gets it off to McCabe, who gets it ahead. Benoit chipping it to the line and in. Domi working down the left wing. Domi around back of the net. Looks for a man in front, dropping for the defense, who drops it back to Domi. Domi with a shot in traffic, and it bounced just wide. Into the corner is Robertson. Back to the point and deflected out at center ice. Good job by McCabe to slow the rush, but now it's a 2-on-1 and a big break up by Robertson. Huge play made by the Leaf youngster. He got on his horse and got back and broke up the pass that was intended for Jake Neighbors.
You mentioned those not in the lineup tonight for the Leafs, and that's a pretty good smelling salt, isn't it, to start a game? That you know that you've got to be the harder working team in this game. Actually, you do most nights, but this is just a little more obvious when you take the talent out of the mix. Fortunately for the Leafs, they haven't had a power play to really feel the effects of it.
And isn't that going to be an interesting group that they send out?
Well, they may not find out.
No. Well, yeah, they didn't the other night, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In accordance
Never mind.
league policy.
Yeah.
Leafs will not get
Yeah,
a
with
power
all of your
play.
guys out, you won't get a power play. Pass. Never mind that group. How about the second group? Here's a pass in front of the net. The shot. Oh, what a chance by Matthews. And he shot it over top of the goal.
I think Biddington may have got a blocker on that.
Nyes around back of the net. Krug intercepts. Chipped along the boards. The Leaf defense pinching there. And Liljegren is able to keep it in. Near side. Nylander, a behind the back pass didn't work. Nyes, though, comes away with a loose puck. Centering pass, and it didn't reach Matthews, and it's brought out at center ice. And the Blues send it in, and Matthews wipes out Kasperi Kapanen with a good hit. Matthews turns in his own end. Sends it off the boards to the far side. Leafs are trying to get a change going. Sammy Blah gets it ahead and gets it in over the line. Minute 4 to go in the period. Centering pass by the Blues, and it was chipped just wide of the net. Rebound comes back to the point on the near side. Peryanko sends it into the corner. Brody trying to tie up his man but can't. Puck comes back to the point. Another shot in traffic, and down to block that was Samsonov. I guess we better add Connor Timmins is not available tonight either. Now here's McMahon with a shot, getting it down into the St. Louis zone. He's got mono, so never mind the flu. Everything else is going through the Leafs dressing room as well. Played off a leg back into the Toronto zone. Half a minute to go in the period. Lagesson dropping it back, and the Leafs would be quite pleased to just take this 2-0 lead into the dressing room, and it looks like the Blues are going to go along with the idea, except a long pass, and Steeves now deflects it down into the St. Louis zone. Binnington plays it into the corner. Good hit in there by Steeves. Out at center and shot back in offside with 3.3 seconds to go in the period.
I would say this might be the best first period the Leafs have had all year. I mean, they've had some good ones. They've had games, remember, against Colorado, they were up 3-0. Some fluky goals. But I'm saying as far as work ethic goes, they've only given up 4 shots on goal. St. Louis comes in on a roll. They've won 7 of the last 8. 15-7-1 under new coach Drew Bannister. They're in a playoff spot, so this is a big game. Everything is going to be a big game for St. Louis from here on in. And the Leafs, depleted lineup, you've got one message. Don't get outworked.
Well, they didn't get outworked, and they didn't get outshot. 11-4, the Leafs better in that department. McMahon and Nylander make sure they're better in the important department, 2-0.
Yep, it's I'm getting on the forecheck. Ilya Samsonov looked solid, but the Leafs were never really under pressure, and anytime it seemed like St. Louis had an opportunity, it was Nick Robertson with a big play, Austin Matthews getting back with a big play, or some big hits by Benoit that turned things around for Toronto. So I give them a lot of credit. They could have used the excuse that was on the board, or they could use it as motivation and come out and play, and there's still a lot of time left, but I think Sheldon Keefe has got to love the first 20 minutes.
Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert come.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Sam here, and this is why I'm not calling today's game. The voice is almost non-existent, so just wanted to jump in here for a few minutes and talk about Morgan Rielly. But more importantly, welcome everybody in. We have a lot of new faces, a lot of new names coming through, so we appreciate you watching along, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe. We're just over 60 likes now, so if you haven't hit that thumbs up button, hit that thumbs up button. We'd appreciate it. Yeah, Daryl Mono's a serious thing, and if that gets going through the dressing room, that could really, really hurt this team. But again, I wanted to welcome everybody. Richard, I want to give you a huge shout out. Big stick tap, big thank you for the gifted memberships early on. Much appreciated for that. The Leafs off to a good start. 10 shots, 19 hits. When was the last time we saw the Leafs with 19 hits in the first period? 8 faceoffs won. Leafs are doing a great job everywhere. Only 3 giveaways. 6 block shots. Leafs dominating all the categories here. Well, I shouldn't say dominating, but they're ahead. Oh, that's okay, Tristan. I'm here to do my best. Gotta do my part. So let's talk Morgan Rielly. Morgan Rielly gets the 5-game suspension. Now, I've spent a lot of time on X, the last few days. And a lot of people have been sharing around a lot of videos, a lot of cross-checks, a lot of baseball swinging, stick action, headshots. Keep 6, what's going on? Lee, what's up? A lot of stick work out there. Of course, we have the Perron incident. There's a lot of serious stuff. Now, first and foremost, let me say, I do not condone sticking anybody in the head. Headshots are a complete no-go. And even though Morgan Rielly kind of hit the shoulder and it rode up into the head, still, you can't check to the head. However, if Morgan Rielly did not do anything, we'd be sitting here saying, this is a weak team. How can they let somebody do that and not do anything? So I'm happy to see the emotion from Rielly. Happy to see him take action. Ian, thank you. I appreciate it. But I think 5 games for what Morgan Rielly did is crazy. Here's somebody who is in the conversation for the friendliest player. You know, the Lady Bing. He didn't get his first penalty in this season till halfway through. Just want to show you. Kraus, thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that so very much. So, you know, a guy like Morgan Rielly doesn't have a history. He doesn't do anything. I think 2 games would have said, hey, we see what you did. You're on our radar now. I think 2 games would have been appropriate. 2 games would have also been around par for a lot of the other cross-checking issues. Remember, Matthews got 2 games for cross-checking Darlene in the throat. That was worse than Rielly's. There have been a lot of cross-checks going around that haven't even been a suspension. They've been a fine. Right? $5,000 fine, $2,000 fine. So the fact that this is another incident where George Peros and the BS Players Safety Committee is making an example of Toronto. And that's fine. That's fine. Toronto, you know, in the Dubas era, complained a lot, right? They don't call anything. They don't give out real punishments. And so now they're saying, okay, Toronto, here you go. So they can appeal it. The problem with the appeal is by the time they get around to it, the 5 games are going to be done. The only thing to come out of the appeal is if they say, okay, well, he should have had 2 games. They'd give him some money back. You know, that would be the only benefit. Trouba got $5,000 for 2-handed swing to the head. That's right. That's right, Lee. So that's why it's crazy. You know, the NHL has changed so much over the years. And yes, it used to be a much more violent sport. When you had Scott Stevens destroying people coming across the line, where I would say about 80% of Scott Stevens' hits were all headshots. I know headshots is a no-fly zone. And so that's why I'm okay with a suspension. But I think 2 games sets the deal. Now, I hope they do appeal it. And I hope Gary Bettman looks at it. And I hope this sparks a whole controversy over the ridiculousness of the player's safety. You should be able to look at the list, right, and say, cross-check to the head, 2 games. Baseball swing to the head, 5 games. Brad Marchand, you're just an idiot, 10 games. You know, there should be a standard. And right now in this league, there's no standard. And it's not even the players that want a standard. The officials can't even call a consistent game. Toronto gets a penalty and I forget which defenseman it was. Somebody gets a fine, $2,000 fine. It might have been Benoit for a cross-check in front of the net. Matthews gets cross-checked into the boards, and the official says, oh, he fell by himself. Yes, because one of the greatest players in the league just suddenly has a spasm and falls by himself. So the consistency is absolutely ridiculous and atrocious. I think that's the NHL's biggest problem. They got to fix the player safety disaster. They got to fix the officials and get that sorted out. And let the players police themselves appropriately. There used to be a respect in this league. There used to be a respect amongst players. That respect is out the door. Now, for all the Senators fans that are out there saying, hey, there's no rule against taking a slap shot into an open net. Of course there's not. You're absolutely welcome. You want to do a lap around behind the open net and then pull a Michigan and put it in the open net? Go right ahead. But you're going to pay the price. You're going to pay the piper. These players have utmost respect, and by doing something like that is given a big middle finger. And that's not going to fly. So I think there's bigger issues in the league than this, and it's got to start getting sorted out. When you have George Peros as your head of player safety, and for those who don't know who George Peros is, look him up. George Peros was a terrible hockey player. He was a fighter. He was a goon. He was a scrapper. How did George Peros' career end? Toronto Maple Leaf player knocked him out, gave him a concussion, he had to retire. So you're telling me there's not a conflict of interest when you're ruling against the team that ended your career? Sure, we could say, well, they're adults. You know, they don't do that. They don't hold a grudge. I say BS. What happened to the Ranger baseball supposed to Chicago head? Yeah, now could you imagine if Marty McSorley was your new head of player safety? Like, can you imagine if Brad Marchand retires and becomes your head of player safety? The king of the slew foot? Like, it's just absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Now, a lot of Sens players on social media are going around saying what an idiot Morgan Riley is. Why would he do that? He hurts his team. I said it before. If Morgan Riley doesn't do anything, that hurts the team. That sends a bigger message. I like the fact that Morgan Riley did this. I don't care that he got 5 games. He could have got 10 games for all I care. It sends a wake-up message to this team when one of your nicest, most reliable, and I say soft in a respectful way, meaning a guy who doesn't take a lot of penalties. When he says enough is enough, then the rest of this team should be jumping up and down. Ian, it's true. Listen, the NHL, for whatever reason, has an issue with Canadian teams. And I'm so happy this year that the Canucks are crushing it, that Winnipeg is amazing. The Oilers have turned it around. Toronto is there. It is very possible we could have more Canadian teams in the playoffs this year than we have in a long time. And I hope that's the case. It really is, Wayne. It really is. It's like if we were in the movies and Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger were the head of the police department. Like, really? So it's pretty brutal. It is pretty brutal. Those are my thoughts. Hayden, I'm right there with you. Give him the new C. John Tavares would never do that. Exactly, Richard. Look how they're playing today. Nylander is playing a little bit more inspired than he has been. Nick Robertson What an unbelievable game he's playing right now. Some huge defensive plays. Matthews is on it. The bottom line, Gregor, McMahon, they're looking good. So these guys are moving. And we can live without Mo for a couple of games because Mo right now is an inspiration to this group. The revenue sharing league only wants to help the teams. You know what? Hockey is a business. What's up, Lisa Marie? That's right, standing with Morgan. Hockey is a business. Sports is a business. We saw that with the Super Bowl, right? It's all about gambling. It's all about the bottom line. But when did the league stop caring about its players? When did the league stop caring about making sure its internal processes were legit? Leo, I've been sick for about 2 weeks, my friend. I'm feeling much better, just obviously no voice. And I'm probably not doing myself justice, but I thought it was important to come on and talk through this. I think what the league needs to do is put its referees in front of the media after the game. You have your coaches of the winning team and the losing team face the media. What's up, Dallas? You should have the head official, because there is a head official at every game. The head official should go and meet the media and explain why certain calls were missed, why certain calls were made. I think when a player is to have a hearing, I think those hearings should be public record. You want Morgan Riley to go in and pitch their case to George Peros? That should be a public hearing. I think they should be broadcast on the NHL's YouTube channel. And anybody that wants should be able to read the transcripts or listen to the meeting to see what was presented. It's about time a lot of this stuff gets opened up. And people like Peros need to be held accountable. Leafs that they do the most suspensions. Absolutely, Rick. It's crazy. Riley has more games suspended than Jacob Trouba. So funny. So funny. And you know he's laughing about it. And he's pissed. I'm sure they're all pissed. But he's laughing about how ridiculous this whole thing is. That's right, Dallas. You go transparency, and a lot of these issues will sort themselves out and all of a sudden go away. There are a lot of really good hockey minds out there. A lot of really good hockey minds. I think it's about time the NHL puts a committee together, not of the general managers, but a real committee of people who have an interest in moving this game forward. And they start reviewing all these things in this task force, present to the league. Here's all the things that need to get fixed. Gary Bettman said, nothing in the league is broken right now. He honestly believes everything is working as it should be. So Gary Bettman needs to wake up and realize things need to be addressed. One of the things going around, a lot of expansion rumors right now, Utah, a front runner, the Smith Group in Utah looking to bring an expansion team. The NHL has agreed to play an off-site game in Utah. So that's going to be really cool. That's going to be coming up. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say thank you. I'm going to sign off. Enjoy the rest of the intermission. We'll be back in about a minute or so with period number 2. Again, please hit that like button. 20 likes away from 100. Hit that like and hit that subscribe as well. We are on the way to 9,600. And that means we're almost at 10K. We're going to be able to announce real soon our big 10K giveaway. So make sure you hit that subscribe. Thank you. We'll see you in the chat.
Bobby McMahon from Noah Gregor at 5:33. And then William Nylander catches a huge break, deflecting the puck in off Matthew Kessel. And at 16:25, Nylander with his 26th of the year escalates the lead to 2-0. The Leafs dominate the period. 11-4 the shots on goal favoring Toronto, and they are rewarded with a 2-0 lead.
Really, for Ilya Samsonov, it was nice for him to be rewarded with a period like that as well, wasn't it? Because when he came back after his sabbatical, 3 games he played against Seattle and the back-to-backs against Winnipeg before the All-Star break. Ilya Samsonov might have been as good as we've ever seen him in a Leaf uniform. Not quite as good the 2 starts after, but in this game, the start anyway, only they've adjusted at him, and they 3 shots against.
Oh, wow.
In the opening period. The Leafs are down to 10.
Stand corrected. Played Leafs to the left and the Blues to the right. Face-off went all the way down the ice for it can't be icing. They're doing it all over again. Anyway, ready to drop the puck. And the puck is dropped. 4 seconds off the clock when they did it. Shot down into the Blues' end. Bennington makes a pass up into the slot area, and the Blues are going to get it out. And then an errant pass sends it down the ice, and icing's going to be called here against St. Louis, and it'll come back into the Blues' end. The Leafs with a record of 26-16-8, 60 points, 2 more than the Blues have. The Leafs are 14-6-6. The Blues are 13-12-1 on the road this year, which is kind of interesting. And Toronto at home, 12-10-2. On the road, 14-6-6. You wonder why. Along the boards, Nyes, far side, on to Nylander. Weaves in on the right side, holds. Tried to make a pass there for Matthews, but it was intercepted by the Blues, and they play it back in with Buchnevich getting it into the slot, trying to roll it in front, and it's knocked away. It'll come to the blue line. Letty holding, walking the line, can't send it to the net. Played off the boards and up on the near side, and just chopped out at center ice by Nylander. David Camp forces the situation all the way back behind the St. Louis goal to allow the rest of his mates to change. Letty plays it high into the Toronto zone. Pushed out at center ice for Noah Gregor. Gregor makes a nifty move to get in. Out circles with the puck. Rink wide into the far corner. McCabe thought better of chasing after it, and a wise choice. Played back out at center ice by St. Louis. Benoit over on the far side, then gets a return pass. Benoit trying to one-hand it ahead for Camp, and does, and Camp sends it the rest of the way into the St. Louis zone. Bennington into the corner for Perienko, and the Blues, Letty, now getting it up on the wing for Shen. Shen tries to chip it in front of the net. Lagesson played it up on the wing, and Bobby McMahon getting it out. Had to go back in offside. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, went off the player that was leaving the ice. Hit his skate, so that's why they...
Oh. Well, there's about 8 guys out there now, yeah. So I don't know.
No, take a breath. It didn't matter.
Very confusing.
19:09 to go here in the second period.
Don't get into too many men on the ice penalties again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it would have been the other way, though, this time.
Exactly. My point. Scandella got it to the Leaf blue line, but it's pushed back down. Leafs regrouping. Played down into the zone. Racing after it there was Robertson. Robertson dropping it back for Domi, and he whistled one into the glove of Bennington.
This really has been an impressive line, hasn't it?
Well, I tell you what.
With the illnesses and suspensions.
I don't think Max Domi can shoot the puck any harder than he did right there.
No, it was pretty long range. It was above the top of the circles, but Jordan Binnington was able to see it. But you like it. The only thing I would say, though, Joe, you had Tyler Bertuzzi was more off to the side. You want him to get out of this goal drought or goalless drought, you want him to go right to the top of the crease in front of the goaltender.
Leafs get a turnover in the far corner. Played back to the point by Holmberg. Near side, McCabe rolls it into the corner. Blues are going to send it out past everybody. And an icing call coming here. 17:25 left second period. 2-0 Toronto. You know, today's the anniversary. 25 years ago, the last game at Maple Leaf Gardens.
I always think it's a neat trivia question.
What's that?
One player scored the last goal or the game-winning goal for franchise in their last 2 visits, 2 different teams.
Bob Probert?
Last visit to Maple Leaf Gardens.
Probert?
Probert did not have the game winner in that game.
No, he had the last game of goal, yes.
No, it's rather interesting. So every team played a final game at Maple Leaf Gardens. But one player scored a game-winning goal for 2 different franchises last game at the Gardens.
Was it here the Blues with a turnover and a wrist shot coming and a penalty coming against Toronto. Blues with it now along the boards. Gobbled up there by Sundqvist. The centering pass to the far side. Coming in front. Stopped by Samsonov. The Leafs are going to get to the puck. And here's the first penalty of the game.
Interference is going to be the call. And that is made by the official at center ice. Not the one that was 10 feet from the infraction. And Jake McCabe, who's still got a big cut on his nose from a penalty that was never called earlier.
Domi getting the box.
Now, what's the longest shutout streak the Leafs have had as far as not getting a power play? I'm going to go back a while now.
I would think that they're in a pretty good one right here. They had 3 against the Dallas Stars, none against the Senators. Getting an opportunity. Leafs win the draw and are able to get the puck out into the center ice area. So answer your question. Who's the player?
It was Doug Gilmour. He actually with Chicago in that game. Gilmour had the winning goal, and also with the New Jersey Devils the year before. But the Devils never played
in Toronto
the 98-99 season in Toronto. They played both games here.
Yeah, that's here at
Air Canada Center then,
at the time. Yeah. Krug starts out. Blues power play is 22nd in the NHL. Got it up on the right wing from Schenn. Down into the corner and around the boards. It's going to come to the blue line. Not out. And brought back. And now Noah Gregor's got a breakaway. He's working a goal. And a blocker save made by Binnington. Oh, my. Between that and Bertuzzi, this could be a 4-0 lead. Blues get it in over the line. It's St. Louis who is the shorthanded goal specialist in this group. They've had 11. Back to the point. Paryenko a drive, and he whistled that high over top of the goal. Down into the corner and on the near boards. Poked back to the blue line. Kept in there by Paryenko. Down along the boards, backhanded to the line. Paryenko gets it ahead of Matthews to the right wing side. Schenn down low. Big block. Backhanded high again, but not out. Matthews has had a couple of chances to clear. Hayes has this one intercepted by Matthews. He's with Gregor and across the line trying to flip it in for Gregor, and it bounced on him and never did reach the stick. Leafs getting it back into their own end, and Giordano wastes little time, sending it down the ice with 12 seconds left to go.
Hope this crowd shows a little more appreciation when this penalty is wrapped up. The Leafs kill it off. I mean, that was a great kill by Toronto.
Played out at center, and it goes into the box, and the penalty expires. And the Leafs will get their men back on, and a 2-0 lead still in the books, and it was so close to being 3.
No reaction from the crowd here. I mean, this should have been almost like people are so upset that Tavares and Marner aren't in the lineup with Morgan Riley. They're not going to cheer, but I mean, that was a great penalty kill for the Leafs. They've still only given up 5 shots on goal, so 2 here in the second period. They only gave up 3 in the opening period.
Leafs win the face-off. Liljegren got it ahead. Holmberg to the far side. Benoit chipped it in over the line, but out of the reach of Ryan Reeves. Shot out at center ice. St. Louis gets across the line. Reeves took his man Hayes to the boards. It comes to the side of the net. Samsonov couldn't get a glove on a puck at the side of the net, and another shot. Scores! A deflection. Toropchenko coming across in front. And the Blues get on the board, and it's really close to getting Samsonov with a glove on it. But it turns into a goal, and it is 2-1.
Puck is shot from the right wing dot, and judging by the reaction, it was redirected by Toropchenko right in front of Ilya Samsonov. Toropchenko had a goal against Montreal. This is actually his third goal in the last 7 games, which is pretty good for a fourth-line player.
Fifth of the season, and what could have been 3-0 is now 2-1. Played off the boards and in over the line. Nyes couldn't get around the defenseman. Chases Krug down into the corner, but the Blues are going to get it out. And on the left wing, Nick Leddy carries in on the left side. Leddy trying to center, blocked nicely there by Brody. Brody protects the puck well. It comes to the side of the goal. Matthews trying to help out. It goes into the far corner, and Robert Thomas is there to get it back to the point. Sent around the boards and back of the goal for Buchnevich. Buchnevich to the point to Leddy, a shot, and down is Samsonov, but he's got that caught up in his equipment and stops play for a face-off coming in the Toronto zone. Let's when go. We return. The lead. Here in the second period. Scotiabank Arena, the Leafs bit of a homestand here. The Philadelphia Flyers, the much improved Philadelphia Flyers, in town Thursday night. We'll be with you at 7 o'clock from Scotiabank Arena.
Well, nobody said it would be easy.
No.
Did they?
Who was the little guy? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, the Leafs have struggled so much for teams that are outside the playoff picture. It's probably what they needed. Yeah,
shot by Krug went just wide. Down in the back of the net area. Lagesson is able to get it freed up and gets it up on the wing, and a saucered pass sends Domi away. Nifty move to gain the zone. In on the left wing, and a shot! And that may have gone just wide. And Karam, did it go off the goalpost? I believe it did. Down into the Toronto zone it comes. Max Domi getting it to Lagesson. Lagesson flipping it to the line and out at center ice. And then intercepting the passes, Robertson. He gets a shot away. Big rebound in front. Jammed at the rebound. Krug trying to get to it. Bertuzzi can't find it. Oh, my. And this line has just been scintillating for the Maple Leafs here this evening. Played in over the line. Noah Gregor couldn't come up with it. Blues bring it back to the line and in. Working up on the right wing and backhanding it along the boards. McCabe was able to block it, and David Camp comes away with the loose puck and finds McCabe again. What a scramble that was, wasn't it? Brought on now by Bobby McMahon. Down around back of the net, spinning it towards the blue line, but it is kept in there by Simon Benoit. Centering pass goes astray, and the Blues break it out. Hayes coming through center. Kevin Hayes working to the top of the circle. Got it in on a backhand. Swallowed up by Samsonov off the stick of Braden Shen.
That is Samsonov's best of the night. Braden Shen coming off the goal line to his right, forehand, backhand. And I think tries to tuck it upstairs.
Max Domi is a game star at this point.
Oh, he's been outstanding. I mean, that whole line has been good. I think Nick Robertson is...
They haven't been rewarded.
Yeah. See that one shot off the... Oh, by the way, it was Tyler Bertuzzi. Hit the crossbar. As the slump continues in a most spectacular fashion.
Played up on the wing for Nylander, trying to get around one defenseman. Pulls up. Drops it back to the point and a shot. And that was deflected in front of the net and it went just wide. Nyes was right there. Nylander again getting it back to the blue line. It's going to roll down the ice and way out of the goal comes Samsonov. Banking it off the boards and missing it. And then the shot is sent to the net and Samsonov dives and is able to deflect it away. Leafs flip it ahead. Nylander in. Nylander can't deliver a backhand. Sends it in front for Matthews. He doesn't shoot it. Holds to the near side. Dropping it back to the point. Lagesson into the corner. Pass in front looking for Nyes. Didn't work. It's going to be played to the line and out at center ice. Toropchenko heading it down into the Leaf end. My goodness, there's been some action here in this second period. The Leafs get it to the line but not out. Backhanded around back of the goal. Sundqvist trying to come up with it. Leafs are able to steer it away, and Domi starts away at center. Pass up on the wing is flipped in. Bertuzzi just did get that in.
I thought that was pretty close to too many men on the ice for St. Louis.
Oh, that was the O. Usually you reserve those O's for the Leafs. Oh.
No, when I'm counting, I reserve those O's.
Left wing side, Toropchenko.
That usually means I got to start over.
You know what? When this career is over, you really need to get to be a math teacher. I think you'd be terrific.
Well, I'll let you know when I hear.
A bit of a scrum going on at the blue line. Reeves got bowled over with a pretty good hit. And he's got a big grin on his face as a result.
There's going to be too many St. Louis Blues still around from when Ryan Reeves was there.
Yeah.
Braden Shen would be one. But boy, Ilya Samsonov comes out of the net looking like Johnny Bauer playing the puck. Then diving back looking like Johnny Bauer poke checking it away from the front of the net. Woo. That's one of those when you realize why certain guys become goalies. Because if they can fire the puck that hard, they wouldn't have been goaltenders in the first place. And Ilya Samsonov bails himself out. Trying to go up the boards, but didn't get enough on it.
Half the game almost in the books. Max Domi has played 7 minutes and 54 seconds. You would think under the circumstances he'll probably eclipse any ice time level for this season. Scandella got it ahead, broken up by the Leafs, but it bounced over Robertson's stick. Scandella regrouping for St. Louis again, gave the puck away, and Brody chipping it along the boards, and Liljegren circles back of the Toronto goal, got away from one, didn't get away from the second, but now stolen back, and now Robertson has it. Robertson up on the wing and into the zone off a leg. Oh, no, apparently it didn't hit a leg. I must have hit the dasher board right at the blue line where Max Domi was standing, but it turns into an icing and is coming back into the Toronto zone.
The way you're talking about the ice time for Max Domi, his season high in ice time so far, 16 minutes and 53 seconds.
You'll have...
You know what game that was? Saturday against Ottawa. 15:42 before that, but the games before that, you're 10, 11 minutes a night.
Shot wide of the Toronto goal. Down into the corner. Domi lost his stick. Lillard went punching it ahead. Now Bertuzzi in a fight for it on the far boards. And Domi is able to deflect it, and Robertson is going to get it out. He plays it off the boards into the St. Louis end. Leafs are changing. Pass intercepted by Nylander coming off the boards, and now Matthews trying to chip it in front of the net to himself, and that didn't work. He comes away with it again to Willie. Nylander back to the pointed drive, and a hammered shot there by Giordano. Broke a stick and then a wrist shot is gloved by Binnington off the top of his left pad to stop play and bring a face-off in the zone. I'll tell you, Mark Giordano may have not tried to shoot a puck any harder than he did just then.
But it shows you the importance of getting shots through, right? I know it goes off the shaft of a stick, but took away a scoring opportunity.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey. Will be working out in Abbotsford this week with the Vancouver Canucks. And a penalty coming here for a hook.
And now our favorite part of the night. Who's got it?
Well, the player looking towards the Leaf box, and it's Nyes.
There we go.
There we are.
Morgan Riley might have picked up a penalty too. And this, oh my goodness!
You know the best part about this?
We just saw the replay on the video board.
Suspendable?
Man, I mean, this is very similar to the call with 6 minutes left in Ottawa. I mean, if you call it, if that's the standard, fine. But if that's the standard, you've missed 47 others exactly like it already.
Wow.
Time of the penalty, 10-15.
Shot down the ice by the Blues. Second power play for St. Louis in this period. And Peryanko dropping it back. Brought on, almost intercepted, and Nylander did intercept it but couldn't get away. Shen plays it back the other side. Shot coming, and it deflects high and wide of the Toronto goal. Down the boards goes Sundqvist to get it back to the point. It'll come over on the near side now for Hayes. His shot is swallowed up by Samsonov. Top of the crease, making the save, no rebound. Face-off coming in the Toronto end. Willie couldn't pull the puck ahead to get him away.
It's like he was trying to pull a dog on a leash.
Yeah.
And he went,
and he's got those two wonderful mucks at home. He should know how to do that.
He just couldn't control it, or he would have been gone. Although Jordan Binnington is 2 for 2 on breakaways so far in this game.
Blues Hayes waved out of the face-off circle, so Shen will move in. Braden Shen, the younger brother to Luke. Draw one, and the Leafs are able to break it out at center. Here's a chance now for Noah Gregor in on the left wing. Gregor rolled it, trying to get it in front, but it went behind the net. And the Blues are back the other way with Schenn leading the rush. Hits the line. That was close to being offside. Down into the corner and around back of the net to the near corner. Sundqvist trying to get it back and does. To the point. Krug, right wing side, one-timer off a stick. That was off Benoit's stick and up into the screen and out of play it goes. 8:07 to play, second period. 57 seconds remaining in the penalty to Nyes. And the Leafs now have gone 5 straight without having a power play.
They've had more suspensions than power plays. No.
You know the one thing I love about you?
No.
You're never,
no, I do
you're
not.
You're never going to let it go, are you? I love it.
I knew there had to be something. I just didn't know what exactly you loved about it.
Buchnevich to Krug to the far side and down into the corner. Buchnevich comes around with it. Down to Schenn. To Thomas. Thomas, and a bad pass then by Buchnevich. Sends it all the way down into the St. Louis end. 28 seconds left in the penalty kill. Maple Leafs have been excellent in the last 5 games, or 6 games. Just 1 of 17 against. Pass back into the slot. Krug holds to the near side. Back to Krug. 10 seconds in the penalty. Kyrou with a chance. Drop pass for Krug. Krug holds, still with it. Off on the right wing side. Cross ice now. Back to Krug. Wrist shot coming, deflected wide. Penalty is expired. Nyes is back. Didn't get to it quite quickly enough. Now it's back into the corner. Nyes forces it along the boards. And it's grabbed off there by McCabe. He needs to just get it out. Matthews will. And now here is Brody coming through center. Going to get it up on the right side. Bobby McMahon with a long shoot in off the blocker of Binnington. Domi gets it back to the point to Liljegren. Liljegren to the far side. Lagesson gets it into the corner. Domi back into the slot. Liljegren a drive, and that was blocked in front of the goal. Did that get through to Binnington? I'm not sure. Leafs are able to keep the puck in on the near side for Bertuzzi. He'll backhand into the corner. Robertson couldn't get to it. And the Blues have launched it high to center ice. They get in over the line. Here's a chance in front of the goal. And a good save made by Samsonov with the right pad. Back to the point. Samsonov takes it off the chest. Then he makes an excellent pad save with the right leg. And the Leafs with Domi in his own zone. Gets it to Liljegren. Up ahead for Bertuzzi. Sent into the St. Louis end with 5:56 to play in the period. Leafs knock it in a little deeper. Back to the net now for Rosen. He was unable to make a pass, and the Blues, organizing in their own zone, find Scandella, and Marco Scandella gets to the lead blue line and shoots it in. Samsonov with his 2 best saves to keep this a 2-1 hockey game. Reeves pushes it along for Steeves. Alex Steeves up from the Marlies, works around back of the net. Couldn't get it in front. And then Reeves intercepts, or at least Holmberg intercepts a pass. Looks for Reeves, drops for Benoit. Shot went high and wide of the Blues goal. Back to the point again. Liljegren snapping it around back of the net, out of the reach of the Leaf player, and it comes to center. And it'll be Brody back to regroup. Liljegren and Brody exchanging the disc. Liljegren gets it ahead, in across the line. Matthews into the slot, right wing side. Look out. Nylander's stick snapped in half. It went high off the screen and almost made the seats.
No penalty.
Continue your thought. No suspension. At the point, backhand shot blocked. The Blues breaking out at center ice. McCabe one-on-one. Pass back into the slot area. Buchnevich couldn't draw a shot. And now Nylander has stolen the puck and airmails it high to center ice. That took a nice bounce for the Leafs. And across the line is Nyes. Nyes holding up. Tried to drop it off there to Matthews. That didn't work. Blues back at center. Played in on the right side. Deep into the corner. It goes off a stick and into the near corner. Buchnevich overskated the puck. Nylander trying to play it up along the boards. Knocked down was Buchnevich. No penalty.
Oh,
No suspension.
I was looking.
No, there was no penalty, no suspension. Puck comes free, played into the far corner. McCabe runs out of real estate and is able to bank it in behind the net. And David Camp trying to work up the boards does, but he's gotten it a little bit too much on the boards. Down the ice it goes, and an icing.
All right. And we do joke about it. But one thing that I did say, and we agreed upon this, Morgan Riley deserved a suspension.
Yes, he did.
But when you get the in-person, this is usually saved for the most severe infractions by the most notorious characters. And that's why you laugh at that part of the system, because Jason Spezza went through it, 18 years, 1 suspension. It was a 6-game to start before they knocked it down to 4. And Morgan Riley's similar. Like we said, he deserves something, but you really have a tough time thinking it's anywhere close to the worst we've seen in this season.
Played high to center ice. And the Blues are back there with Krug, sending it in on the right side. McCabe slowed up the attack. Lagesson plays it in along the boards for David Camp. Leafs leading 2-1. The puck back of the net for Hayes. Hayes banks it back to the point to Krug, and that went off a leg and went wide. Comes back to Krug again. Krug sending it in along the boards. Krug, of course, has been one of the better offensive defensemen in this league since starting with the Boston Bruins. Now Noah Gregor in with a shot, and that was kicked aside by Binnington. Krug bringing it out. Got it in on the left wing side, brought in by Robert Thomas. The Blues are trying to get a change, and the Leafs have some skating room to bring it out. Liljegren to the red line. Shot it in. Binnington out of the goal. Almost gave it away there, but the Blues are able to break it out, and Toropchenko gets to center. Now a 2-on-1 down low. Pass in front of the goal, and sprawling to block it on a brilliant play is Mark Giordano.
Boy, Timothy Liljegren fell, and that led to the 2-on-1 for the Blues, but Giordano bailed his partner out.
Flip to the blue line and lugged out at center ice there by McMahon.
Playing the parade.
Oh, wait a minute. There's a penalty here.
It's going to go to Parayko, I believe, for interference.
Or is it a slash? Well,
St. Louis, number 55, minor penalty.
see, I told you so.
No, I don't want it then.
All right. Leafs to the power play. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, on the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Nylander, Matthews, Domi, Bertuzzi, and McCabe is the power play. I'm willing to wager that this group has never practiced the power play as a group. Back to the point, McCabe works to the middle of the ice, doesn't shoot it, still with it. holding. Now into the corner on the near side for Matthews. Coming out with it. Back to McCabe. Doesn't shoot it. Works along the left wing. Now to Matthews. Matthews high slot to Nylander in the far half boards. Nylander still with it. To McCabe. One-timer just went wide. Back of the net. Matthews with it. Right to center. He does. Domi is robbed by Binnington. Oh my. What a setup by Bertuzzi.
Unfortunately, though, Joe, Bertuzzi got the pass from behind the net out of the slot from Austin Matthews. Threw it across to his right to Max Domi, but put it off Domi's right skate. So Max had to kick it back to his stick. And at that time, he's actually facing the far corner and put it back in towards Binnington.
If he elevates it.
Oh, if he elevates it, yeah. But
another inch.
But it's that split second where you got to take it off his skate to get it onto his stick.
Face off to the left of Binnington. Leafs win the draw. Domi trying to slip it back. The Blues are able to pick it up, and they're going to have to be cautious here because the Blues have scored 11 shorthanded goals. They are second only to Philadelphia, who's here on Thursday. Puck down off a skate. Blues in their own zone are going to ice the puck.
Boy, this would be huge, though, if the Leafs could restore that 2-goal lead going to the dressing room. But you keep talking about short-handed goals. Maybe they'd keep the score the way it is.
Now the second unit coming out, Alex Steeves dropping it back to the far side. And Nylander staying out there, works in over the line on the left wing. Slides into the corner. Got the puck back, but then had it taken away. And it is Toropchenko shooting it down into the Toronto zone.
He has 2 shorthanded goals on his own.
As does Buchnevich. Brought back now by Matthews. Matthews to the line. Left wing side. Stopping up is Nyes. Nyes holds at the far half boards, banking it back to the blue line. It'll come over here to Liljegren. Liljegren stopping it off to Matthews. Saucered to the far side. Shot by Giordano is stopped. Rebound at the side of the goal. 3 seconds left. Shooting! Matthews misses the net, and time's going to run out.
There might have been a sliver of daylight over the left shoulder and under the crossbar of Binnington, but Matthews just does miss the mark. The Leafs still out shooting the Blues 18-11 after 40 minutes of play, but the 2-0 lead after the first has been cut in half.
8-8, the shots on goal in the second period, and the only goal coming from Toropchenko, Walker and Kessel getting the assist after McMahon and Nylander scored in the first period. Eilish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert coming your way. You're listening.
All right.
Hey there, everybody. Sam here. The intermission is coming to an end. The game, the third period, is about to start up. I just again wanted to say thank you so much for supporting us while we broadcast this alternate format. I really appreciate it. Again, as soon as my voice comes back, you know I'll be back. But until then, we'll be streaming this way. Thank you for hitting those likes. If you haven't, please do. And we are 9 subscribers away from 9,600. So if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe. Let's get it. Tell your friends, come on in, hit that subscribe. Let's hit a milestone tonight. Thanks everyone for your support. See you for the third period. Go Leafs, go.
This evening's game with the St. Louis Blues, having outshot the Blues 18-11. Bobby McMahon from Noah Gregor, and then William Nylander unassisted in the first period. And in the second period, Nikita Alexandrov scoring, with Walker and Kessel getting the assists on the. Alexei Torpachenko scoring. Got too many Alexes. Leafs get it down into the St. Louis zone. Played off on the right wing side. Final seconds over in the power play. Back to the point. Liljegren with a shot. And that took a funny hop, but it went wide of the net. Blues with it in their own zone. Trying to launch it high to center ice, and they have. And sent to the far side for Liljegren. Liljegren on the boards, and it comes back now to Brody as the Leafs are changing. Robertson looking for a pass, but it comes up the middle, and Bertuzzi deflects it down into the St. Louis zone. Round back of the net, played up on the wing to the near side. Shen loses it there.
Let's go.
Off a stick, centering pass by Robertson didn't work, and the Blues are breaking the other way with Shen having to try and work in the centering pass. Knocked away there, and again a nice sprawling play made by a Leaf defender. Now another shot is blocked in front of the net, trying to get a glove on it, and McCabe does a great job of boxing the guy out and allowing goaltender Ilya Samsonov to get down and get a glove on a rolling puck.
I know you love a lot of what he brings to the Leaf blue line, but Simon Benoit cannot pinch on this play that led to a 2-on-1. He pinches, he gets caught, and fortunately Jake McCabe bails him out at the other end. I mean, even if you're down a goal at this point, Joe, now's not the time to do it. But when you're protecting a 1-goal lead in the third period, it's got to be peel back first and look after your own end.
Gregor gets it ahead. McMahon backhands into the St. Louis end. And it'll be Nick Leddy playing it out at center. Shot right back in again, but the Leafs have to tag up. Parayko around back of the net, got it out. Leafs have it again. They'll regroup it this time. And Giordano dropping it back to his defense partner. Lagesson got it ahead, and Noah Gregor deflects it deeper into St. Louis territory. Binnington plays on, and Kevin Hayes starts out. And again an errant pass, but it's down into the Leaf end. Liljegren is able to come away with it and gets it ahead, and now Brody tries to work his way clear and does come to center. He'll flip in into the far corner. Puck goes down in along the boards. Good play by Steves to dig it free. Back to the blue line, trapped and unable to keep it in, though, is Liljegren. He'll send it back in. The Leafs tag up again, but the Blues have time and space back of their goal.
At the same spot, Nylander couldn't control the puck as well.
Launched high to center ice. Maybe a bad ice resurfacing job there. Oh, and we'll speak to management. Along the boards, Leafs get it ahead for Reeves, who is able to backhand it out at center ice and down into St. Louis territory. Another change coming. The ice time is rather even. They're probably the most the fourth line has played in quite some time. Ahead at center for Jordan Kyrou. Got it in over the line. The Toronto native couldn't come up with it. The Leafs have banked it out and down the ice. And an icing charge will come here against Toronto.
This game, even, I know you look at the firepower that is out of the lineup from a Leaf standpoint, but this really has been their whole season, hasn't it? Get out to a 2-0 lead, have all kinds of chances to expand on it. St. Louis makes it 2-1. You have more chances. You have a power play. But the inability to get that next one to try to put you in the driver's seat has been very elusive for the Leafs, especially here on home ice.
Played at center, and Nylander working in on the right side with a sharp angle shot. A blockered save made by Binnington. Leafs trying to keep the puck in, but it comes out at center. And they'll regroup it back into their own zone, and the Leafs have it now looking ahead. McCabe stick handling his way to the far side. Still has that puck. Banks it ahead for Nyes. Nyes trying to find a man, but it's going to go over the boards and out of play. And it'll come back into the center ice area. Alex Steeves into the action here tonight, playing in his 7th NHL game. And with the Marlies this year, 38 games, 38 points, 18 of which are goals.
It's always important to promote up the system instead of always doing that panic move where you feel like you have to acquire somebody.
Draw one by the Leafs, kept in by Giordano. Around to the far side. It'll be trapped there by Robertson. Robertson holds, spins it back for Domi. Domi to Robertson. Robertson down the boards and into the corner. Now kicks it back at the net. Unable to get it in front. There's Bertuzzi. And the Blues trying to work their way free, and they do. Brought out by Sundqvist to center. He'll dump it down into the Toronto end. Goaltender out of the net, makes a nice little pass ahead, and the Maple Leafs are going to get it out at center with Domi. Domi to the line. Got it in deep. Round back to the net. Binnington plays it away from Nylander, and the Blues don't get it out. Kept alive there by Domi. Couldn't hook up with Nylander to get it down into the corner, or to Robertson, who got after it, but it comes right back of the net. David Camp over the boards along with Bobby McMahon. Now the Blues starting out of their own end. Got it up on the left wing. Launched down into the Toronto zone. Puck along the boards and back of the net. Liljegren punching it on the wall. Gregor was able to get a piece of that and provide no icing. Then a stolen puck back of the goal. Centering pass. Oh, and that was almost converted. Binnington coughing it up as he was near the non-trapezoidal area.
Both Binnington and Samsonov fortunate in some giveaways tonight.
Against the boards, Leafs trying to get it out. Rosen was knocked down, and a penalty coming to St. Louis.
Now it looked like the Leafs had their break a little earlier and couldn't capitalize. They'll get another one here.
Minor penalty, tripping.
So tripping is going to be the call. And I believe it's Sammy Blais is gone for the St. Louis Blues. So face off down in the St. Louis zone, and we are now even in power plays.
Does that have anything to do with Department of Player Safety?
No.
Oh, I just checked.
No. Now, how much would the Ottawa 7-minute power play have counted toward their power play stats? You know, going in, Senators actually had the largest differential between power play time against shorthanded time. I believe it was 40 minutes. 50 minutes in around there difference.
Well, they had 172 opportunities, add 3 more, and the Morgan Riley one, I guess. So, yeah, you're right. Brought to center ice. Here's Nylander in on the right side. Bertuzzi swings it around the boards. It's going to be trapped by Domi at the left point. Down into the corner to Nylander. Nylander back for Domi. Cross ice past Bertuzzi. Back to the blue line. It goes to McCabe. McCabe to Domi. Down low. Here's Nylander stepping out. Goes to the net with it. And Binnington made the save. Domi able to retrieve the puck. McCabe now to Matthews. Matthews to Domi. Back to Matthews. Matthews being checked there. It comes back into the slot. No shot yet. Down into the corner. Half boards for Nylander. Nylander top of the circle. Down low now Bertuzzi thinks about going in front. Goes around back of the goal. Back to the point again. Nylander's pass though on a one-timer comes out over the line. It was completely out of the reach of McCabe. Leafs back in over the line with Nylander. Backhanding it into the corner and around back of the net. Comes back the other way. Trapped and played ahead. Knocked away. Here's a good save made by Nylander. Into the slot, Matthews. Matthews to the far half boards. Passes down low. Domi centering pass. And Bertuzzi set it just wide. Another great scoring opportunity for Tyler Bertuzzi here tonight. Matthews pulls his way in over the line. Bertuzzi can't get it in front. Puck is still free and it's backhanded by St. Louis down the ice. A dozen seconds left in the power play. Brought to center by Liljegren. Hammered in off the glass. Down the boards, Robertson. Nyes unable to come up with it. Makeshift line here with Nyes, Pontus Holmberg, and Robertson after the power play. Brought back now by Toronto. Up ahead for Nyes. Nyes trying to bull his way in along the boards. Works his way into the corner. Centering pass! And a quick shot taken by Holmberg. Went off the chest of Binnington. Shot back down into the Toronto end.
Boy, since Willie Nylander scored that fluke second goal, fortunate deflection, Jordan Binnington has been absolutely superb.
Pontus Holmberg shooting it into the St. Louis zone. Change is coming. Binnington had to leave the puck, and then when it was centered, he got a pad on it. Now another shot taken by Gregor that was blocked. To the blue line, Brody. Far side for Benoit. Return to Brody. Can't shoot it at the net. Gives it to Gregor. Centering pass. And Bobby McMahon let it go, but he set it well wide. Kept in again by the Leafs. Brody with a shot. That was blocked in front. Another shot. Scores! Bobby McMahon scores from the corner. Holy Mackinac. The Leafs have a 2-goal lead.
The Leafs with all kinds of pressure in the St. Louis zone. TJ Brody from the left point. The shot is blocked in front. And Bobby McMahon looks for the rebound. Bottom of the circle, left wing side. And Joe, this is the perfect shot. Up over the left shoulder, far side on Binnington, under the crossbar. And the Leafs have restored the 2-goal lead that they built in the first period, 3-1 Toronto.
First 2-goal effort in a game for Bobby McMahon, who has made his way from Wainwright, Alberta, through Colgate University, the Wichita Thunder, the Newfoundland Growlers, and the Toronto Marlies. And the Leafs have a 3-1 lead. Down into the Toronto zone it goes. Rung around the boards to the near side. Tipped ahead. Matthews is away. Nylander's with him. Matthews in to Nylander, and it was out of his reach. He's able to carry it down into the near corner. Nyes frees it up for Matthews. Chipping it along for Nylander. Scooped around back of the net into the far corner. McCabe decides to pinch. Grabbed off by Nick Leddy. Engaged there by the Leafs. Bertuzzi couldn't get it in front of the net. It's going to come to the line, but not out. Brody hustles to it. Bertuzzi in the far corner. Bertuzzi drops it off. Robertson into the slot. Domi works it into the right wing corner. Max with a shot. Swallowed up by Binnington and held. Max Domi has just been flying out here tonight.
I think it's been 2 or 3 games now that he's been very noticeable. He scored in Ottawa a couple of nights ago, and we got into that conversation. Give me more ice time. I'll produce more versus produce more, and we'll give you more ice time. Either way you slice it, Max Domi has been great.
Brody and Benoit assist on the goal. Toronto 3, the Blues 1. You're listening to Molson.
The Leafs with a big goal. Bobby Mack, his second of the game. That is huge. 3-1 Leafs. If you're just coming in, thank you for joining us. As you can tell, I'm a little under the weather. We are fighting here. So thanks for coming in. Make sure you hit that subscribe. We're just a handful of subscribers away from 9,600. Let's hit that major milestone tonight. So thank you for all your support. Hit that subscribe. Enjoy the rest of the game. Go Leafs, go.
The goal from Bobby McMahon. His fourth of the season, and the Leafs with a 3-1 lead and a half the third period to go. Back in the Toronto zone, Giordano takes his man to the wall. Lagesson does likewise on the far side. Now Domi fighting to get it out, got it ahead, and a good play made there by Robertson just to get it to center ice. Played back down into the Toronto end. Lagesson working around back of the goal. Stops it up. Finds Giordano. Giordano pushes it ahead. Bertuzzi launches it high to center ice. Domi calls for the fair catch and made it, and then backhanded it down into the St. Louis end.
Dye was with the Argos for a bit, wasn't he? His dad?
Well, I think he showed up.
Didn't he kick some field goals?
Yes, he did. Absolutely. Played around the boards and out at center ice by Toronto. Rosen plays it ahead. Ty was a good soccer player. And
so was Peter Zezel as well, wasn't he?
Oh, Peter Zezel was an excellent. He was the best I ever saw at the face-off by pulling it back with his feet. I mean, he was unbelievable. We lost him far, far too soon. Played back down into the Toronto end. Leafs changing. Quickly ahead for Brody. He buys the rest of the rink by sending it in and hustling after it as Holmberg made a backhand pass in front, but Reeves couldn't get it. And Reeves pulled his man with his open hand there, and I thought, oh, here comes a holding penalty, but it wasn't called. And it really could have been. Brought back now by the Blues. And across the line, and Reeves and McCabe stand up the Blues forward with a good hit. Played off the boards and out at center by Alex Steeves. Blues back in their own zone. Get to center, send it into the Toronto end. McCabe just needs to get it around the boards nicely and does. And Simone Benoit, with lots of time and space, gets it down into the St. Louis end. Krug had to go off a stick. Grabbed off, though, by Toropchenko. He gets it back and circles back into his own end. Then gives the puck away. And the Leafs, Domi is in again with a shot, and he ripped it over top of the net on the short side, looking over the blocking glove of Binnington. Kept in at the point by Toronto, and a shot there, and Binnington makes a great save as there was lots of traffic in front of the net with Bertuzzi there. Back come the Blues in over the line. Knocked out of the stick of the Blues, and then a shot hits the side of the goal in the Leaf end. Played down into the corner. Max is after it as it comes back to the point. Near side now for Tarasenko. Had it knocked away. Leafs trying to find an opening. Nice play by Brody. He'll get it ahead. And Bertuzzi buys the rest of the rink by sending it down into the St. Louis end. 7:50 to play third period. The Leafs with a 3-1 lead. Blues to center. In on the left wing. Pass in that was deflected away by goaltender Samsonov. Played ahead, and now out come the Leafs, led by Lagesson. William Lagesson lugging it to center. Had to go off the linesman's skate. And that turns into an offside, unfortunately, for the Leaf defenseman.
Now we talk about the Leafs and closing out games. How about this? 7:30 to go here in the third period. The Leafs have given up one shot here in the third, out shooting the Blues by a count of 8-1, and have the goal to make it 3-1 to restore the 2-goal lead.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey. Blues won. 7.5 minutes to go. Third period. The Leafs are without Mitch Marner, Calle Yarncrook, Connor Timmins, Morgan Riley, John Tavares, Mitch Marner. Quite a lot of the roster is not available.
You go back to some of those playoff runs in the early 2000s where they'd lost Sundin and a number of key players. Darcy Tucker.
Yep.
And a lot of guys stepped up.
Sure did. Laid down into the Toronto zone. It comes back to the point. Nick Leddy gets a shot away, and it's high and wide of the Leaf goal. Hustling into the corner is Benoit. Trapped there. It comes back in along the boards. Benoit getting it to McCabe. McCabe up on the wing to the blue line, but the Leafs don't get it out. The puck comes free on the near side. St. Louis with Schenn getting it around back of the net. McCabe chases after his man. Rosen tries to get it back to the point and does to Nick Leddy. Leddy's pass, though, is intercepted, and now the Leafs with some time and space get it out at center and get it to the line, but not any deeper. Gregor hits to the bench. Leafs are changing. David Camp doing likewise.
Gregor skated well tonight, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. Brought to center ice now by the Blues. In on the left wing. A shot goes wide of the Toronto goal. Puck on the near wall. Cleared to the line, but not out. Leafs get a second opportunity, and this time get it ahead. Max Domi is able to skate away from traffic, and he carries to center with a quick pass. Bertuzzi's in behind. Bertuzzi in front of the goal. Oh, Binnington robs his man as coming in off the right wing was Nick Robertson.
Tyler Bertuzzi's now at the point where he's saying I can't even get an assist. This was a great setup on a 2-on-1. Again, I mean, you got to bury these, but not ideal because Robertson's on the right wing side in a left-handed shot. So not as good an angle, more towards the middle of the net when he let it go than it was to the open side. As Binnington, give him credit, he stopped two breakaways, and then that save was absolutely spectacular.
Sorry, Jimmy. I got ahead of myself. It wasn't nearly that important.
Neither was what I said, so we're even. I think we've had a lot of ties over the years.
Brought on by the Leafs. Matthews in on the wing, and that was blockered away nicely by Binnington. Blues bringing it back at center. Got it up on the right wing and a return pass in. Shot stops. Crawling is Samsonov, and the centering pass goes by everyone all the way back into St. Louis territory. 5:23 to go, third period. Both teams changing. Could have used one there from Austin Matthews. He was right where he likes to let it go from. Leafs get it out at center. It's down into the St. Louis end. Calle Rosen goes back to retrieve it and stops up behind the net. Rosen gets it off in the wing. Paryenko ahead at center. Chipped in then by Kyrou. Puck intercepted by the Maple Leafs. Yeah, Brody does a nifty little job to get clear. And the Leafs send it in, but out of the reach of McMahon.
Wow.
And a really, really tough icing call here from one of the linesmen.
We may have 18,500 people agree with that.
Except for that guy over there in the Blues jersey. I see him. He's happy. A lot of Toronto or Ontario boys on the St. Louis team, so there's more than a few St. Louis fans.
Well, Cup didn't have to go far from Robert Thomas to Jordan Binnington, did they? Richmond Hill up to Aurora.
Yep.
Every player gets their time with the Stanley Cup in the offseason.
Jordan Kyrou's from Toronto. Tyler Tucker, who's not playing, is from Thunder Bay. And Nathan Walker is from Cardiff, Wales. Not a lot of hockey players from Cardiff, Wales. Although they do have a team in the English League.
I think I got sent there one year after training camp.
Pass intercepted by the Leafs, and a play down off of Reeves goes into St. Louis territory, and tick-tock, tick-tock. Now there's 4 minutes left in the third. Reeves steals the puck and got it in front of the net, but it was out of the reach of Alex Steeves. And the Blues trying to bring it back in over the line with Kyrou, and he got leveled there by Giordano. And now the puck in front of the net, and his shot stopped on the blocker by Samsonov. He hasn't had a lot to do in this third period, but he has been sharp and has looked sharp throughout the course of this game.
Sometimes, Joe, it's one of those where just don't give up the bad one, which sounds easier than it can be on some nights.
Bertuzzi steps up at center to get it down into St. Louis territory. Nick Robertson robbed on his last shift. Comes back to the point. Long shot. That was knocked down by Bertuzzi, who was in front of the net. Went right off him and wide of the net. Blues getting it ahead, and we'll have to keep an eye on Jordan Binnington now, as 3 minutes will remain in the third period when the Blues finally get the puck out of their own end. Played down into the Toronto zone. Going in there after it was Rosen. It came to the side of the net. Good play by Bertuzzi to get it away and roll it down into St. Louis territory without icing the puck. 2:47 and ticking. 3-1 Toronto. Blues get it up on the right wing side. Chip down and into the Toronto zone. Out of the net, Samsonov to play it into the corner. Benoit gives it back along the boards for McCabe. He ran into a traffic jam back of the net, but has pinned it up against the boards. Binnington edging out of the net. Now heading to the bench. Extra attacker about to come on. Near side for Rosen. Down into the corner. It comes to the near side. Along the boards, chipped in back of the net. Benoit unable to control it cleanly, but forces it wide into the far corner. Back to the point to Krug. Krug dishes off on the right wing side. A shot off a leg goes harmlessly wide. Around back of the net, cut off but not cleared. Leafs still after it in the far corner. Benoit slow to chase his man. It comes to Krug again and down. Samsonov swallows that up and holds for the faceoff.
That is only shot number 15 that the Leafs have given up on the night. 30-15, the shot advantage favoring the Leafs. 3-1 on the scoreboard.
I was just thinking ahead. Should someone get a breakaway with the empty net, I'm going to suggest no slap shot.
Oh, are you kidding me? I'd take a slap shot and dance on top of the net. Come get your 6-game suspension if you object. I mean, why wouldn't you now? The same thing.
I don't know. It's just wrong.
And the consensus around the league is players saying we would have responded the same way. It's you're kind of mocking the opposition. And like we said, this is not the first time it's happened. And Artem Anisimov is the one I remember the most, was when he scored a shorthanded goal with the Rangers against Tampa and got down on one knee and did like he was holding a rifle and shooting the goaltender. That ended up being a 5-on-5 brawl. And there's nothing in the rules against him doing that.
No.
That's just... No. But I think you would agree, in all sports, it's all about the selling now. It's all about how you're going to celebrate and how you're going to mock the opposition. Even watching the Super Bowl Sunday, every tackle is the greatest play ever.
Draw is scrummed into the corner. Brody got it freed up. Leafs get it ahead, and it's banked out at center ice. Going towards the empty net. Scores! Off the boards and in. Oh, my, what a goal. And is it McMahon? It is Bobby McMahon, his first career hattie. And the Leafs have a 4-1 lead and are going to win it with secondary scoring.
I don't think secondary scoring had a better opportunity all season than they have tonight. But this is a fortunate one. Maybe people will be upset that Leaf fans have been throwing hats on the ice for the hat trick on the empty net goal. For Bobby McMahon, an important one, puts this game away, 1:39 to go.
Look at the smiles on the players on the Leaf bench. They're squirting him with water and everything else. Cool that guy down a little bit. He's too hot.
Boy, Torrey Krug was the St. Louis Blues defenseman that was trying to get back in vain to keep the puck out of the net, and he just couldn't catch up to it. And I'll give him credit. Krug picks the puck up and throws it towards the Leafs, obviously knowing that McMahon had scored a pretty special goal in his career. So you can talk about sportsmanship all you want. From Torrey Krug, that was pretty impressive, wasn't it?
Yep. So Bobby McMahon is going to be the hero tonight with his first career hat trick, and the Maple Leafs with a 4-1 lead and 1:39 to go in the game.
You know, the Leafs allow on average 30.5 shots per game.
How are they doing tonight?
Almost half that.
Giordano and Camp draws the assist on the goal. Played ahead, and McMahon comes back to center, launches a bouncing shot in on Binnington, who's going to be forced to cover up on it and hold for a face-off with 1:18 left to go in the third period.
I'm sure the St. Louis Blues, the coaching staff, management, players themselves aren't going to be thrilled with their effort. They're coming in here after a 7-2 win against the Canadiens in Montreal. And I mean, they have an opportunity, but you know, whether Tavares, Marner, Riley, if those guys were in the lineup, you still would have needed more than 15 shots on most nights to win a hockey game.
At center, Gregor backhands it down into the Toronto end. But what a response. I mean, really, when you think, what a gutsy performance by a team that was facing the suspension of Riley, and then all of a sudden the illness of Marner and Tavares to compound that situation. And these guys come out with a makeshift lineup at times, certainly depth-wise, and have been absolutely outstanding. Down into the corner, around back to the net. Reeves trying to send it in front, and it was knocked away. And it's going to be cleared down the ice by St. Louis. And slowly getting back to it is Liljegren to bring an icing with 30.7 seconds remaining in this hockey game. Face off in the St. Louis end.
I agree 100% with what you just said. But the response would be Where was that Saturday? Where we need it more on a consistent basis from now until the end of the regular season. You know, that jump and that almost desperation, isn't it, right from the start?
Pontus Holmberg taking the face-off in the St. Louis end against Oskar Sundqvist. And the puck comes back along the boards for Liljegren, who sends it around the boards to the far side. Lagesson, who's had a strong game on defense for Toronto. Now Steeves knocks down an errant pass. Here's a centering feed back to the point to Liljegren. Dropped it back. Lagesson with a shot that went off his skate and went wide. 10 seconds to go in this one. And the crowd responding in the Maple Leafs as Holmberg gets it in front of the net. It'll go into the corner. A backhand hits the side of the goal, and time runs out. Two in the first, two in the third. And that's enough for the Maple Leafs as they give up just one goal on 15 shots. And the Maple Leafs are winners by a score of 4-1.
They answered the bell, and again, we talked about how it really has been a two-line team all season. All of a sudden, they're forced to spread things out, and the guys that got the extra ice time are able to come through for them. Obviously, Willie Nylander scores a goal in the first period, which was a broken play.
And a fluky goal.
And, Bobby McMahon scores the other three. And then you had some pretty impressive performances, I thought, from Max Domi to Noah Gregor. Tyler Bertuzzi, you almost think if he scores one, he might score 15 in the next 3 games. But still, the opportunities were there. And Ilya Samsonov, it was a tough game. When you look at Biddington, made a lot of great stops. 2 on the breakaway, made a great save off Max Domi in the second period. And Ilya Samsonov sitting down there going, oh no, it's a 1-goal game. This guy's standing on his head. You know how many shots you have at one end as opposed to your end, and you're thinking, I can't give up the bad one. And he didn't. And sometimes that's the key, especially it was 2-1 for a long time before the Leafs were able to pull away in the third period.
Molson, 3-star selection. Who have you got?
We'll start with star number 3 on the night. Andrew Holland, Noah Gregor. We're going to go with him. He said that he had been skating well. He was good in the penalty kill for the Leafs. Noah Gregor is star number 3. Star number 2, you know what? Let's throw it to Ilya Samsonov. He's had a tough season. Was great before the All-Star break. Not as sharp coming back until tonight. In a game that they needed to win after the loss in Ottawa, he only gives up a single goal. 14 out of 15 shots. I know it sounds like we're doing him a favor, but that's the performance they needed. Just the 1 goal against. So he's star number 2. I'll let you pick the first star.
Thanks.
You want to check your notes?
Bobby McMahon, the young man who is well-traveled and the pride of the Newfoundland Growlers, scores his very first career hat trick here tonight to power the Leafs to a 4-1 lead. Honorable mentions, I'm going to give 2. One is Max Domi, and the other one I'm going to give to is William Lagesson, who coughed the puck up and had some difficulties in previous games and
including
games,
Saturday. Yep.
Including Saturday, I thought was very steady, skated really well and played well. So I'm going to give those 2 honorable mentions, but I couldn't agree with your stars more.
I'm with you in the sense that it was a night where you needed a team effort, and you were able to get it. And sometimes the fear of embarrassment can motivate you as much as anything. And I think from a Leafs standpoint, they said, boy, if we're missing, half of our core 4, well,
more,
3/5 of your core 5.
Yep.
Everybody is going to have to be their absolute best to have a chance to win a hockey game, and they came out and played with that desperation. But like we said, you hope that it becomes a bit of a turning point where you say, okay, this is the formula. Yeah, you had the suspension. You can feel sorry for yourself, and you can be upset and say nothing's going our way right now. Well, best way to respond is go out and play a game like this.
Let's just go out and work. And they did. At any rate, 4-1 the final. Join Jimmy and I when the